All right, all praises. So, first and foremost, shalom to everybody on the line. All praises to the Most High in the name of Yahweh Shai, who the world erroneously calls Jesus. Today, we're going to be talking about this right here. We're going to be talking about how to keep the Passover, right? So, without further ado, all praises, blessings to my big bad brother Chris on the line, and the wife on the line as well. And to everybody who will tune in, shalom. All right. Okay, so let's get into it, man.
Okay, just give me 1 second. I'm trying to log in on my iPad, and I want to make sure that you clearly once I do.
No problem.
What's going on here? Oh, putting in the wrong password.
On the gas, headed to the class. This my blues and that's your ass. I be in these scripts so heavy. King James Version 1611. On the gas, headed to the class. This my blues and that's your ass. I be in these scripts so heavy. Are you ready? I'm about to rebuke every line that pass it. Tell me what is KJV. Don't fail me when I bring it out. I'm up in these streets and keeping the truth. So what you beefing about? You preach
This
with your
brother
mouth.
reached out to me from St. Lucia, man. And said, man, he woke up. He's been tuning in online, and he woke up and realized who he is, and man, he's done with Babylon. He just want to come and keep his heritage. And so he reached out to me to see, when the Passover is, and to get like basically foundation lessons.
Good.
So, yeah, man, I was like, yo, this is awesome, because for months I actually been praying to the Most High to send somebody from you're on mute. You're on mute, bro, Chris.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. If you're on the iPad and you don't want it to
hear me clearly?
Yeah, I can clearly hear you. Yeah.
Wait 1 second. Hello?
Yep, I can
Okay,
clearly
perfect.
hear you.
I hear you clearly also. Good.
Perfect.
Okay. Perfect. Okay, let's get this going. So
right.
he reached out to you. He reached out to you from St. Lucia?
Yeah, the brother reached out from St. Lucia, man. I was like, all praise to the Most High, man. And he said basically he been following the word for about a year now. And as soon as he seen the profile on social media there, he added me right away and wanted to reach out and see, what's going on, because he wants to learn more and get some brethrens, because he has nobody down there, right?
And that's how it goes.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. That's how it happened with me, man. I asked and prayed.
Yeah.
Most High sent me you.
All praises, man.
And, yeah, it worked out perfectly, man.
All praises, all praises. Yeah. So I mean, and it worked out perfectly, like concerning this brother too, because again,
yeah, exactly.
I prayed for a brother in St. Lucia, and the brother is praying for people to link up with. You see what I'm saying? So the Most High, he put it together, and I'm thinking to myself, I really pray that this brother can get strengthened so he can start the work down there, because I get a strange vibe in my spirit, man, that the Most High has like a lot of people on that island, man, but he just needs somebody to open up their mouth down there and speak the truth,
Yeah. No,
yeah,
sure
I'm seeing too many Lucians in the truth. I'm just like, what's going on here, man?
Yeah, it seems like there's a ton of you.
Yeah, it's crazy. The islands in general, for sure, but definitely I'm seeing like something on St. Lucia. I'm getting a vibe. So hey, all praise to the Most High. But yeah, let's get into this, man. All right. How to keep the Passover. Hopefully everybody have their Bible ready and their notebooks. We're going to start in Exodus chapter 12 and go to verse 21.
Okay. Exodus 12 and verse 21.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll get it right now.
It's all good.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 12 and verse number 21. Then Moses called all the elders of Israel and said unto them, draw out and take you a lamb according to your families, and kill the Passover.
And do
ye
what?
shall take and kill the Passover.
Okay, now jump down to 26. And give me 26 and 27.
Verse 26. And it shall come to pass, when your children shall say unto you, what mean ye by this service? That ye shall say, it is the sacrifice of the Lord's Passover, who passed over the houses of the children of Israel in Egypt, when he smote the Egyptians and delivered our houses. And the people bowed the heads and worshipped.
That's it, right? So first of all, the Most High told Moses, draw out, take you a lamb according to your families and kill the Passover, right? Now we know that, this season in Babylon is also the season of Easter. But the Most High didn't mention anything in the Bible about Easter. The Most High told Moses to tell the Israelites, take a lamb and kill the Passover, right? He said, celebrate Passover, not Easter, And then he tells them, hey, when your kids ask about this particular service, here's what you're going to tell them. So here's what the Passover is. The Lord passed over the houses of the children of Israel. That's why it's called Passover. He passed over our houses and he killed the Egyptians and he delivered our houses. You understand? And what happened when the Most High did that? All the people bowed their head and worshiped, right? So in this time today, that's what we got to do, right? When we remember Yahweh's Passover, man, we got to bow the head and worship and give thanks and praise to the Most High that in those times, he rescued us from the hand of the Egyptian, and it's a foreshadowing for this time when he's going to rescue us from the hand of the spiritual Egyptian, who is the so-called white man. You understand what I'm saying? In this kingdom, where their foots are still upon our necks, and we're still in slavery pursuant to Deuteronomy 28:47 to 48 and verse 68, right? Let's go to Deuteronomy 16. And we'll read verse 1 to verse 3.
Deuteronomy 16.
Yeah.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 16, and verse number 1. Observe the month of Abib, and keep the Passover unto the Lord thy God. For in the month of Abib, the Lord thy God brought thee forth out of Egypt by night.
Right.
Thou shalt therefore...
Wait, that's it. That's all I want. That's all I want. All right. Actually, you can read that. Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
Thou shalt therefore, verse number 2, thou shalt therefore sacrifice the Passover unto the Lord thy God of the flock and the herd in the place which the Lord shall choose to place his name there.
Right.
Thou shalt eat no leavened bread with it.
Right.
7 days shalt thou eat unleavened bread therewith, even the bread of affliction, for thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt in haste. And thou mayest remember the day when thou camest forth out of the land of Egypt all the days of thy life.
You see that? So the Most High said, keep the Passover so that we can remember the day that we came from Egypt all the days of our lives, man. Why is this important? Because the Most High is our only freedom from slavery. He's the one that keeps freeing us from slavery over and over again. the final slavery, of course, that he freed us from is this mental slavery that we're in, you know, in Babylon, where we're bowing down to and loving our enemies that conspired against us to destroy us, according to Psalm 83, verse 1 on down, right? So we're keeping the Passover, you know, in order to remember that mighty night that the Most High took us out of the land of Egypt, right? And when are we keeping it? We're keeping it in the month of Abib, right? Which is the first month of the year, and we're gonna prove that, right? So this lesson is how to keep the Passover. So we're going to go through the ordinances of the Passover, some of them that are obvious and some of them that are actually secret, right? And you need a little bit of wisdom to be able to see what's happening in the scriptures, right? So the first of the ordinances we'll go to is 2 Chronicles 35 and verse 8, right? To see how do we keep the Passover? Well, the Most High says keep the Passover according to the law of Moses. So go to 2 Chronicles 35, and we'll read verse 8.
This is the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 35 and verse number 8. And his princes gave willingly unto the people, to the priests and to the Levites, Hilkiah and Zechariah and Jehiel, rulers of the house of God, gave unto the priests for the Passover offerings 2,600 small cattle and 300 oxen. Continue.
No. Hold on.
Small cattle and 300 oxen.
I think that's a fall short there. 1 second. 2 Chronicles 30 and verse 16. My apologies.
No problem.
Wait, hold on. Yeah, that's what I want. 2 Chronicles 30.
30 and 16.
Go from 15.
This is the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 30 and verse number 15. Then they killed the Passover on the 14th day of the second month. And the priests and the Levites were ashamed.
Second Chronicles chapter 30.
That's correct. This is the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 30 and verse number 15.
Yeah.
Then they killed the Passover on the 14th day of the second month. And the priests and the Levites were ashamed and sanctified themselves and brought in the burnt offerings into the house of the Lord. And they stood in their place after their manner, according to the law of Moses, the man of God.
According to what?
The law of Moses.
Right.
The man of God.
Right. So the Passover is to be kept according to the law of Moses. You understand? Right? So whatever Moses said in the Torah, that's how we're supposed to keep the Passover. Right? So when you go to the Jewish household and they have no lamb, that's off. You understand? Because that's not according to the law of Moses. Moses said, take a lamb for a house. Right? When during Easter, they give you, bun and cheese, that's off. Because the Most High said, no leaven should even be in your house, meaning no yeast should even be in your house during the time of Passover. So you got to keep the Passover not according to the laws of man, but according to the laws of the Most High God, who he brought forth by the hand of Moses, right? All right, so first ordinance, who can eat the Passover? 2 Chronicles chapter 30 and verse 25, right? So just going down to verse 25. Go ahead.
This is the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 30 and verse number 25. And all the congregation of Judah, with the priests and the Levites, and all the congregation that came out of Israel, and the strangers that came out of the land of Israel, and that dwelt in Judah, rejoiced. So there was a great joy in Jerusalem, for since the time of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel, there was not the like in Jerusalem.
Right.
Then the priests and the Levites arose and blessed the people, and their voice was heard, and their prayers came up to the holy dwelling place, even unto heaven.
Right. So what's happening in this chapter? The Passover is being kept. Give me verse 18.
Verse number 18. For the multitude of the people, even many of Ephraim and Manasseh, Issachar and Zebulun, had not cleansed themselves, yet did they eat the Passover otherwise.
You hear that?
Then,
so what's happening here is the Passover is being kept. And who's eating of the Passover in verse 25? What is it? Who does it say is eating of the Passover?
it says, I'll go back and I'll read it from the start.
Yeah.
Verse number 25. And all the congregation of Judah, and the priests and the Levites, and all the congregation that came out of Israel, and the strangers that came out, and the strangers.
Who?
And the strangers.
All right, that's what I wanted. Right? The strangers are also eating of the Passover. Right? So strangers can eat of the Passover, right? Despite popular belief, right? But what kind of stranger? Exodus 12 and verse 48. Exodus 12 and verse 48. How can the stranger eat of the Passover?
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 12, and verse number 38. And a mixed multitude went up also with them, and flocks and herds, even very much cattle. And they baked unleavened cakes, and the dough which they brought forth out of Egypt.
Hold on,
For it
brother.
was
I
not-
said Exodus 12 and verse 48.
Oh, 48. Sorry, I thought you said 38.
All good.
And 48. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 12, and verse number 48. And when a stranger shall sojourn with thee, and will keep the Passover of the Lord, let all his males be circumcised, and then let them come near and keep it, and he shall be as one that is born in the land. For no uncircumcised person shall eat thereof.
You hear that? So not any stranger was eating the Passover. The Most High tell you, if any stranger ate the Passover, that stranger had to be circumcised, right? And then he could come keep the Passover, right? Now this is twofold, right? This is physical for that time, but it's more importantly spiritual for this time. You understand? Well, at that time it was physical and spiritual. You understand? Now you don't need the physical ordinance of circumcision, but you still need the spiritual ordinance of circumcision, right? And at that time, if an Israelite was circumcised in the flesh but not circumcised in the heart, and he ate the Passover, he ate judgment upon himself, according to Yahushua. He ate and drank judgment upon himself, right? Which is in the book of Corinthians. Let me see. Let's go. Where is it? Let's see here. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. I want to go through in order, right? So
Okay.
so in any case, you had to be circumcised to keep the Passover, right? And let's prove that, right? Which circumcision do you need in order to be able to keep the Passover? 1 Corinthians 7 and 19.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 7, and verse number 19. Circumcision is nothing, and uncircumcision is nothing, but keeping of the commandments of God.
You see that? That's your circumcision. It's not removing the foreskin of your flesh, because from the time the Most High gave that ordinance to Abraham, he already told him there's going to come a time where you have to circumcise the foreskin of your heart, you know. And why did he give him the covenant? If I remember correctly, the book of Hebrews tells you he got it by faith. He didn't get it by circumcision. That's how he got the covenant, right? The circumcision was a mark of the covenant, but he got the covenant by faith, right? So that same priesthood that got in the covenant by faith, which is the Melchizedek priesthood, right, is the same priesthood that we're in now, the priesthood of Melchizedek, which offer things better than the law, right, which is the spirit, you know. Let's go to Deuteronomy 10 to prove that the Most High already said from the Old Testament that you got to circumcise the foreskin of your heart. Deuteronomy 10 and verse 16.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 10, and verse number 16. Circumcise, therefore, the foreskin of your heart, and be no more stiff-necked.
You see that? And what did we just read? Circumcision is nothing, and uncircumcision is nothing but the keeping of the commandments. So here the Most High says, circumcise therefore the foreskin of your heart, meaning your mind, and be not stiff-necked. Meaning what? Keep my commandments. That's the circumcision. So who can eat of the Passover? The stranger who is circumcised in their heart. Also the Israelite that is circumcised, right? If you're not circumcised, you can't eat the Passover, right? And we're gonna go more into that a little bit later. Who else can eat the Passover? To eat the Passover, you must be clean. Numbers 9, go from verse 6 to verse 8. Right?
Numbers 9, 6 to 8.
Yeah, before you read, this links up with circumcision, because by keeping the commandments of the Most High God, you're clean, right?
Right.
You have white garments, right? Hold on, let me find this scripture. I want to bring it up. Right? By keeping the commandments, you have white garments. Revelation 19 and verse 8. And to her was granted that she should be arrayed in let's go from 77. Let us be glad and rejoice and give honor to him, for the marriage of the Lamb is come, and his wife hath made herself ready. His wife is Israel. And to her was granted that she should be arrayed in fine linen, clean and white, for the fine linen is the righteousness of saints. That's the fine linen, right? So that righteousness makes you clean, but also you got to be ceremonially clean before the Most High, because the Most High deals with order on the highest level, right? So go ahead.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 9 and verse number 6. There were certain men who were defiled by the dead body of a man.
They were what?
Defiled by the dead body of a man.
All right, read on.
That they could not keep the Passover on that day.
Stop right there. So you see, it says they were defiled with the dead body of a man, meaning they touched the dead body of a man, and so they couldn't keep the Passover on that day. You see that? Because they had touched the dead body on the day of the Passover, right? Go ahead.
And they came before Moses and before Aaron on that day.
Mm-hmm.
And those men said unto him, we are defiled by the dead body of a man. Wherefore are we kept back, that we may not offer an offering of the Lord in his appointed season among the children of Israel?
Stop right there. So the Most High, it's a question that the brothers ask.
Yes.
Yeah, he asks, hey, so are we kept back from making an offering to the Most High because, we touched the dead body? Read on.
Verse number 8. And Moses said unto them, stand still, and I will hear what the Lord will command concerning you.
Right.
And the
So
Lord
that's
spake
it.
unto
Hold on. That's it for now. So Moses said, hold on a second. Let me go ask the Most High. So the thing that the ordinance that we're going to bring out, like if you're unclean on that particular day, for example, you've been defiled by the dead body of a man, or you've been defiled by the bodily fluids of a man, the seed of copulation, right, or the blood of the cleansing of the woman, the brothers want to know, hey, listen, can we still, keep the Passover? Can we still eat the Passover? And Moses said he's gonna go ask the Lord. So the Most High is about to give an answer to whether or not you can keep the Passover if you're ceremonially unclean, right? Go to 2 Chronicles 30 and verse 17. We're gonna get to the answer that Moses gave them. Go to 2 Chronicles 30.
Okay. 8. So now we'll go to 2 Chronicles 30 and read back again from 15.
Give me 17.
17. Okay. 2 Chronicles 30 and verse number 17. This is the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 30 and verse number 17. For there were many in the congregation that were not sanctified. Therefore, the Levites had the charge of the killing of the Passover. For everyone that was not clean, to sacrifice them unto the Lord.
So what?
To sanctify them unto the Lord.
You see that? So the people that were not clean, sanctified, he's showing you that sanctified means clean, meaning what? Ceremonially clean. Said the Levites were in charge of killing the Passover for everybody that was not clean at that particular time, right? So if you were not clean, the Levites would kill the Passover for you. But that's killing the Passover, and that's at this particular instance. So what uncleanliness is it talking about? It's talking about ceremonial uncleanliness. You can find that in Leviticus 15:16, Ezekiel 36:17, and Sirach 13 and verse 1. Right? That's some examples of ceremonial uncleanliness. All right. Okay. So clean people got to keep the Passover, right? Spiritually clean and ceremonially clean. You have to be physically clean, you have to be spiritually clean, and you have to be ceremonially clean in order to keep the Passover. Now go back to Numbers 9.
Continue from verse number 9?
Yeah.
Or where do you want me to start from?
You can start from verse 8.
From 8? Okay.
Yeah.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 9 and verse number 8. And Moses said unto them, stand still, and I will hear what the Lord will command concerning you. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, speak unto the children of Israel, saying, if any man of you or your posterity shall be unclean by reason of a dead body, or be in a journey afar off, yet he shall keep the Passover unto the Lord. The 14th day of the 2nd month at even, they shall keep it, and eat it with unleavened bread and bitter herbs.
That's all I want. You see? So if you're ceremonially unclean at the time, right? From a dead body, or if you're on a journey and you miss the Passover, the Most High is telling you, keep it in the 2nd month. 14th.
You get a month to make it up.
Yeah, you have the next month to be able to make it up.
Right? Yeah, prepare yourself, get yourself clean.
Yep.
And go from the 2nd month. I did not know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? Mm-hmm. Pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. Yeah, the Most High have graces all throughout the scriptures, man, where he just deal with the people according to circumstance. Okay. When do we keep the Passover? Well, we just read in Deuteronomy 16 verse 1-3 that it is to be kept in Abib, right? Now, what is Abib, right? Exodus 12:1. When is Abib, or rather, what month is Abib? Exodus 12:1.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 12 and verse number 1. And the Lord And the Lord spake unto Moses and Aaron in the land of Egypt, saying, This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you.
That's all I want. Which month? Deuteronomy 16:1. Which month is he saying is gonna be the first month?
1 second.
Yep.
Deuteronomy 16
and 1.
and 1.
Yep.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 16, verse number 1. Observe the month of Abib, and keep the Passover unto the Lord thy God. For in the month of Abib, the Lord thy God brought thee forth out of Egypt by night.
You see that? Right? That was Deuteronomy 16:1.
16 and 1.
Yeah. So the first month we know is Abib. Right? So when exactly is Abib? John 10 and verse 22. Abib, I'll tell you guys right now, is in the spring. Right? How do we know Abib is in the spring? We're going to bring it out.
This is the book of John, chapter 10 and verse number 22. And it was at Jerusalem, the feast of the dedication, and it was winter.
All right. How do we know Abib is in spring? Well, first of all, the feast of dedication is held in the winter, right? The feast and so let's see what month is this feast of dedication held in, right? It just says the winter, but it doesn't say which exact month in John 10 here, right? In verse 22. So let's go to 1 Maccabees 4, and we'll read from verse 49.
1 Maccabees 4.
Yeah.
Starting from what verse? 1 Maccabees
49.
chapter 4.
49.
This is the book of 1 Maccabees chapter 4 and verse 49. They made also new holy vessels, and into the temple they brought the candlestick and the altar of burnt offerings and of incense and the table. And upon the altar they burnt incense, and the lamps that were upon the candlestick they lighted, that they might give light in the temple.
Right.
Furthermore, they set the loaves upon the table and spread out the veils, and finished all the works which they had begun to make.
Mm-hmm.
Now on the 5th and 20th day of the 9th month, which is called the month Caslu,
Right.
in the 148th year, they rose up betimes in the morning.
Right. So stop right there. It says in the 25th day of the 9th month, right? And the name of the 9th month is Caslu. They rose up in the morning. Okay, great. Read on. We're going until 56.
And they offered, verse number 53, and they offered sacrifice according to the Lord upon the new altar of burnt offerings, which they made. Look, at what time and what day the heathen had profaned it. Even in that was it dedicated with song and citherns and harps and cymbals. Then all the people fell upon their face, worshiping and praising the God of heaven, who had given them good success.
Yeah.
And so they kept the dedication of the altar 8 days, and offered burnt offerings with gladness, and sacrificed the sacrifice of deliverance and praise.
So stop right there. So in the 9th month, right? On the 25th day is Caslu, right? In the 9th month, which is Caslu, on the 25th day, they kept the dedication. You see that? They kept the feast of dedication. And John 10 tells you that it was winter in the 9th month. That month, Caslu. All right. Okay. Now, knowing that the 9th month is the Feast of Dedication, and that happened in the winter, we know they only have 12 months of the year. Now let's go to Esther to see you know, when that 12 months lands, right? Esther 3 and verse 7.
This is the book of Esther, chapter 3 and verse number 7. In the first month, that is the month Nisan, in the 12th year of King Ahasuerus,
Yeah, you're right.
Ahasuerus,
Yeah.
they cast Pur. That is the lot before Haman from day to day and from month to month, to the 12th month, that is the month Adar.
Right.
And
So sorry. So does the Feast of Dedication come before the Feast of Purim or after? Is the Feast of Dedication before the Feast of Purim?
it's before.
It's before. It's in the 9th month, right? The Feast of Dedication is in the 9th. It's winter in the 9th month. It says in the 12th month, we keep Purim, right? Go to 2nd Maccabees 15 and 36.
This is the book of 2nd Maccabees, chapter 15 and verse number 36. And they ordained all with, and they ordained, sorry, I'll start from the beginning. And they ordained all with a common decree, in no case to let that day pass without solemnity.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, that's
but
fine.
to celebrate the 30th day of the 12th month, which in the Syrian tongue is called Adar, the day of
Mardocious.
Mardocious Day.
The day before Mardocious Day.
The day before Mardocious Day.
Yeah. So
Thus
what's happening? Sorry. I that's all I want, just 36.
Okay.
So what's happening here? Judas Maccabeus, or Judah rather, which is his actual name, Judah Maccabeus is rededicating the temple, right? Here they're decreeing to celebrate the day that they killed Nicanor, right? Because Nicanor stretched out his hand against the temple of the Most High, and then the Most High gave Judah Maccabeus the victory against him in battle. In fact, he died first in his battle, although he came with thousands of soldiers, right? And so, you know, Judah hangs up the man's head and his right hand towards the temple to give all honor, glory, and praise to the Most High for killing this man. So that's the day of Nicanor, and it says it's the day before Mardocious Day. Mardocious Day is when? When is Mordecai Day? Mardocious is Mordecai.
That's Purim.
That's Purim, exactly. Which happens in the 12th month, right? So if the Feast of Dedication is in winter, and 3 months after that is the 12th month, right? Which is the month of Adar, right? When is Abib? Because Abib is the first month.
So basically the month after Purim.
The month after Purim. Now, here's the thing. If dedication is in the winter, how long is the winter? Let's go see. How long is winter? Right? Can you see the screen?
Yep.
The heathens say, I already knew this, but just to show you guys receipts, Even the heathens themselves say on average winter lasts from 89 days to 93.6 days. How many months is that?
3 months.
That's 3 months. What is 3 months after winter? What
First day
season?
of spring.
Spring. So the month of Abib, by the process of elimination, must be spring. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
So the Most High said, keep the Passover when? Keep the Passover in the spring. It's not Easter we're keeping in the spring. It's the Passover. And this is actually the new year, right? 30 days after the beginning of winter, the year actually starts, because winter is a refresh, right? Everything dies and comes back to life again after, you know? Okay, so we know when to keep the Passover. Let's see, when are we supposed to select the lamb for the Passover? Right? Exodus 12. Verse 3.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 12, and verse number 3. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of the 12th, in the 10th day of this month, they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for a house.
Mm-hmm.
And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb.
I'll read on until we get to 6.
Okay. Your lamb shall be without blemish,
Right.
a male of the first year.
Right.
You shall take it out of the sheep or from the goats, and you shall keep it up until the 14th day of the same month.
Mm-hmm.
And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening.
Right. So when are we supposed to take the lamb?
On the 10th day.
Right. Right. The 10th day of the month of Abib, we're supposed to select the lamb. Right. So here, keeping it in Babylon, on the 10th day of the month, you got to go buy your lamb. Make sure you have your lamb on the 10th day of the month. You understand? Don't wait until the day before. That's against the ordinance, right? We're trying to keep the ordinances of the Most High in perfect order. Now, if you have to, you're going to do it like that. But in order to keep the ordinance perfectly and make the Most High happy, get your lamb on the 10th day, right? Okay, how and when to kill the lamb, right? For those of us who are able, give me Exodus, read verse 6.
This is the book of Exodus, chapter 12 and verse 6. And you shall keep it until the 14th day of the same month, and the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening.
Shall kill it when?
In the evening.
Right. So the lamb is to be killed in the evening, right? Of what day? The 14th day or the 13th day?
The 14th day.
So the 14th day at evening is the 15th. And guess what that is? In the skies. Because we know that the moon is a sign of feast, according to the book of Genesis, the 1st chapter, right?
It's a full moon.
And they're given, the moon is a clock, basically. That's what the Most High is telling you, right? Let's go there. I don't want people to think I'm just talking out of my, you know what. Let's see. Genesis 1 and verse 14, it says, and God said, let there be lights in the firmament of heaven to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs, for seasons, and for days and years. Let them be for lights in the firmament of heaven to give light upon the earth. It was so. He made two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, the lesser light to rule the night. He made the stars also. All right. Now, you might say, well, how do we know if it's the sun or the moon that's the timekeeper? All right. I'm going to bring it up. I think it's in Psalms. That might be in the Apocrypha, bro.
It's in the Apocrypha, I believe. It's in
Sirach, maybe?
It's Sirach 48 or something like that. Let me see.
43.
43?
Sirach 43
Sirach
and 7.
43 and okay, and 7.
Yeah, go ahead. You gonna bring it out or you want me to read it?
I'll bring it out from 6. Okay.
Okay.
This is the book of Ecclesiasticus or Sirach, chapter 43 and verse number 6. He made the moon also to serve in her season for a declaration of times and a sign of the world.
That's plain.
From the moon is the sign of feasts,
right?
A light that decreaseth in her perfection.
Right.
The month is called after her name.
You hear
increasing,
that? Go ahead, finish.
The month is called after her name.
Right.
Increasing wonderfully in her changing.
Right. That's all I want.
Okay.
That's all I want. Actually, you can finish that because that's nice and that's a sweet piece there.
Being an instrument of the armies above, shining in the firmament of the heaven.
Right. That's all on that, right?
That's it.
Let's see. Yeah. All right. Great. So the moon is the timekeeper, right? It's the declaration of times and a sign of the world, right? So what's crazy is that the 14th at even is the 15th, because once the sun goes down, the day starts. And what's always on the 15th of the month?
Full moon.
The full moon. No wonder these people used to say we're witches, bro. Yo, they used to say we're witch and warlock because animal getting sacrificed, brethren, under the full moon. You understand? Blood getting poured out and we cooking that up and we eating it. You understand? So no wonder they used to fear that. What the hell are these people doing? Right? And, you know, when I really think about it, I mean, you know, maybe they wanted to take it a step further when they started seeing what we're doing. And they're like, you know what, you want to sacrifice animals? We'll sacrifice people. Not knowing that, like, yo, this is ordained of the Most High. And we're just eating food. That's all we're doing. We're slaughtering the food and eating it live. You know?
Right. Yep.
Okay, so we're killing the Passover on the 14th day at even, right? Who is able, right? We're living in a time where we're not in the temple. You know, we can't keep the ordinance perfectly. That's the purpose of Yahweh Shai. Yahweh Shai can keep the ordinance perfectly for us in the heavenly realms, but we can't do it here. We don't even have a temple, you know? Even if you went to the land right now, you know, I'm led to believe the temple is actually under that big Muslim mosque with the gold top. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I think that's where it's supposed to be, I believe.
I believe that's where it is. It's under there. So how you gonna keep the Passover and kill the Passover in the Muslim temple? It's not gonna happen, right? And we're gonna address that because the Most High says kill the Passover in the place where I shall choose to put my name there. But we're gonna see that at that time it was definitely Jerusalem, but that's not the only place that the Most High commanded Israel to kill the Passover at various times. So in this dispensation of time at the end, the place that he chooses for us to keep the Passover is gonna be pretty clear, right? So we kill it that evening, Numbers 9 and verse 12. We can't break the bones, right? Numbers 9 and 12.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 9 and verse number 12. They shall leave none of it unto the morning, nor break any bone of it.
Right.
According to all the ordinance of the Passover, they shall keep they shall keep it.
See that? So eat all the lamb that night, right? Whatever you can't eat, you have to burn it with fire. And you can't break any bones of the lamb, right? Let's see here. Exodus 12 and 46. Just to back that up.
It's the book of Exodus, chapter 12 and verse number 46. In one house shall it be eaten. Thou shalt not carry forth aught of the flesh abroad out of the house, neither shall ye break a bone thereof.
Right. And if you notice, the Most High says right here, for sure, you know, this is a precept about not breaking the bones. But at the time in Israel, in Egypt, he said, you guys have to eat it in one house, right? You can't bring any of the Passover out of the house, which still counts for today, right? You can't say, oh, I'm going to take a piece of lamb and bring it for, you know, Brother Z, because Brother Z couldn't make it to the Passover. You can't do that. You understand? You can't bring, yeah, that's it, right? And my mistake, so it's the same now as it was then. You can't take the Passover and bring it out of the house, right? And also don't break the bones. Okay. Where to keep the Passover, right? Let's see. Go to Joshua 5 and 10. Right? Because people might say, oh, we can't keep the Passover now because we're not in the land. We don't have no temple. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But I'm going to show you guys in the scriptures where the Passover wasn't always kept in Jerusalem.
Ready? This is the book of Joshua, chapter 5 and verse number 10. And the children of Israel encamped in Gilgal and kept the Passover on the 14th day of the month at evening in the plains of Jericho.
You see that? Right? But the Most High say, keep the Passover in the place where I shall put my name there, right? Which we know his name is in Jerusalem. That's where his name is. That's his house of prayer, you know. That's his the house of sacrifice, right? Where we can come make our sacrifices unto the Most High. But read verse 9 and we'll see who it is that told them to keep the Passover there in the plains of Jericho. Go ahead.
Continue.
Read verse 9.
Verse 9.
Yeah, so we can see who told them keep the Passover in the plains of Jericho.
Verse number 9. And the Lord said unto Joshua, this day have I rolled away the reproach of Egypt from off you. Wherefore the name of the place is called Gilgal unto this day. And the children of Israel encamped in Gilgal and kept the Passover on the 14th day of the month at evening in the plains of Jericho.
Right. See that? So I want
you to know. So the Most High told them.
Yeah, the Most High told them, keep it in Gilgal, right? And you're going to see on a spiritual level, this is very important because it says, let's see. The children of Israel encamped in Gilgal, right? And it says, they named that place Gilgal because that's where the Most High, you know, rolled away the reproach of Egypt from Israel, right? And then he told them, hey, keep the Passover right here, right? Because where does the Most High dwell? According to the scriptures, right? In the midst of Israel. You see what I'm saying? And didn't he say we our body is a temple and we shouldn't defile it?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah. So when you're keeping the Passover, you're supposed to keep the Passover at the temple, right? But we are the temple.
We are
in
the
these
temple.
times. You understand what I'm saying? So your
Yep.
Passover is legit wherever you are. And I will prove that with the scriptures. Because the Most High you'll see the Most High tell a man, if you can't make it to Jerusalem, keep it at your home. Right? So, man, as a nation, we're the temple of the Lord, man. That's why this is able to be done. Remember also, when we moved from place to place at that time with Joshua, he had the tabernacle of witness. Right? Before the stone temple was built, we had the tabernacle of witness, which was what? Tents that the Levites would set up to make sacrifices for the people wherever we camped. Right? So they kept the Passover there with that tent, with that special, holy tent that was set up. You understand? And then later we keep it in the temple. And then in the absence of the temple, the physical temple, we are the spiritual temple, right? And the crazy thing is, that's not a new concept. It was even around in the Old Testament. But now we have no choice but to focus on it and see it. Go ahead.
So basically the building of so all of Israel right now waking up is basically building of the next temple.
On a spiritual level, for sure.
On a spiritual level, yes, on a spiritual level.
Yeah.
That's basically what's happening. So when these people go and build their next big temple in Jerusalem, these Edomites over there, they're doing the wrong thing. When meanwhile the temple's already being built around the world with those who are being woken by the Most High.
That's right, with the gates and the precise number of people or bricks in the temple.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, these people just have no understanding. I watched the debate. How many days ago was it now? 2 days, maybe?
2 days ago. Yeah.
Yeah, where this guy said, "Oh, the Bible never talks about spiritual Egypt." You guys are he's basically saying that, we're begging to link up the scriptures with what we went through because the Bible never talks about spiritual Egypt. I'm like,
he's
wow.
lying when it clearly says that in Revelations.
It clearly says that in Revelation, and he claims that he's a Christian, right?
Yeah.
I was kind of disappointed that, our brother didn't chop that stupid thing, like, why would you even say that, bro? You're begging to be decapitated by the scriptures. You understand? I'm kind of disappointed that our brother didn't take that opportunity, but it is what it is. The Most High.
The way it went, because he didn't really get after him too hard with scripture, because that first off, that guy would have refused to listen to anything, and he would have just continued to say, "Oh, that is a lie. That is what was his favorite word?
It's bogus.
It's bogus. That is bogus. That is bogus." That's what the man would have did. So yeah. It was like our brother just said, "Okay, you know what? I'm just going to allow this guy because nothing I put forth is, they won't allow it. He won't. He'll just continue to say it's bogus. It's bogus. It's bogus." But he had no proof of nothing. He could not come out of the book, and nothing out of the book came out of that man's mouth, basically.
Yeah, which I would expect, which is also why I believe that our brother should have taken the opportunity to just decimate him with the book, because remember, there's nothing more powerful than these scriptures.
Of course.
So you can go and do all these scholarly things and whatever. That doesn't matter. What matters is, what did God say, right? So I feel like, not for the sake of that damn devil, because I mean, who cares about him? But for the sake of the 4,000 people watching, he should have brought out more scriptures to cut that guy's doctrines to pieces.
Yeah, especially, I agree, especially because he was being so
cocky.
So cocky and every second talking about all that the brother's doing is promoting violence, and all we do is we talk violence and hate, when those guys perpetuate the most violence throughout the damn world.
I couldn't believe he said that.
He should have attacked him for that particular reason.
100%. Yeah. But anyway, moving on. So we see the most high himself telling us keep the Passover in the plains of Jericho. Right? Now Numbers 9 and verse 5. There's another spot that he tells us to keep the Passover.
Numbers 9 and verse 5.
Yeah. And then the scripture we're going to look at after that is going to show us why we are able to keep the Passover here in Babylon, you know, in a place that the Most High choose.
Okay. This is the book of Numbers, chapter 9 and verse number 5.
Right.
And they kept the Passover on the 14th day of the first month at even in the wilderness of Sinai.
Yeah.
According to all that the Lord commanded Moses, so did the children of Israel.
You see that? So we kept it in the plains of Jericho. We also kept it in the wilderness of Sinai. Now here's the kicker. Deuteronomy 12. And go from verse 17.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 12, and verse number 17. Thou mayest not eat within thy gates the tithe of thy corn, or of thy wine, or of thy oil, or
sorry, brother. 1 second. Let me see. I just want to give people context. Yeah.
Mhm.
1 second. One second. Read verse 12 and verse 5. Oh, sorry, verse 5 and verse 6 first. Sorry.
This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 12, and verse number 5. But unto the place which the Lord your God shall choose out of all your tribes to put his name there, even unto his habitations shall ye seek, and thither thou shalt come. And thither ye shall bring your burnt offerings and your sacrifices and your tithes, and heave offerings and your hand, and your vows, and your freewill offerings, and the firstlings of your herd, and of your flocks.
Right, so stop right there. So the Passover is a burnt offering, a freewill offering, a heave offering, or a sacrifice? The Passover.
A sacrifice.
The Passover is a sacrifice. All right.
Yeah.
So it says, don't just, you got to bring it to the place where the Most High put his name, even unto his habitation, which again we know is Jerusalem, the temple in Jerusalem. Now go down to 17 and 18.
Verse number 17. Thou mayest not eat within thy gates the tithe of the corn, or the wine, or of thy oil, or the firstling of thy herds, or of thy flock, nor any of thy vows which thou vowest, nor thy freewill offerings, or heave offerings of thine hand.
Right,
but
stop right there. Stop right there. So the Most High is saying anything that you dedicate to him, you're not allowed to just eat it at your house. You got to bring it forth to the people so everyone can eat it, right? Which is pretty cool because whatever you give to God, you give to your brothers and sisters. That's why Christ says in the New Testament, the things that you did to each other, it's me who you did it to. When you didn't give your brother food and he was hungry, it's me you didn't give the food. When you helped somebody that was naked and gave them clothes, it's me you gave it to, right? And you see where that comes from. It never changed. The tithes and offerings are to take from your increase and bring to all the people. So guess what? If a man is hungry or naked, right, or poor, he's always gonna have, because the whole nation is always bringing stuff to give to everybody. You know? So read on.
Verse number 18. But thou must eat them before the Lord thy God in the place which the Lord thy God shall choose.
Okay, so stop right there. You have to eat these things in the temple. That's what the Most High is saying. Go ahead.
Thou and thy sons and thy daughters and thy manservant and thy maidservant and the Levite that is within thy gates. And thou shalt rejoice before the Lord thy God in all that thou puttest thine hand, in all that thou puttest thine hand unto.
Right, now give me 21. Watch this. Oh, wow. Wait, keep reading because it's going to link up with exactly what I said.
Okay. Verse number 19. Take heed to thyself that thou forsake not the Levite,
Right.
as long as thou livest upon the earth.
You see that? So the tithes and stuff was literally for those that don't have. And he put one of the tribes to not have anything. So you have to be doing tithes and offerings, otherwise the Levites don't eat. Right?
When the Lord, right, verse number 20. When the Lord thy God shall enlarge thy border, as he hath promised thee, and thou shalt say, I will eat flesh, because thy soul longeth to eat flesh. Thou mayest eat flesh whatsoever thy soul lusteth after.
Obviously within the laws.
Within the laws, right? If the place which the Lord thy God hath chosen to put his name there be too far from thee, then thou shalt kill of thy herd and of thy flock, which the Lord hath given thee, as I have commanded thee, and thou shalt eat in thy gates whatsoever thy soul lusteth after.
You hear that? You hear that?
Yep.
It says if the place that the Most High choose is too far, eat it at your house. So this is the part of the law that we're going to use as we're in Babylon. It's inaccessible, to us to go to Jerusalem and sacrifice and eat the Passover in the temple. So guess what? We're going to eat it in our gates.
Right.
And this is all within the law. There's nothing lawless about what we're doing right now, right? As some would have you believe, Okay.
It's pretty much like the first Passover, basically, where we had to stay indoors in our house and we couldn't leave, right?
Yeah.
We're doing it at home.
Exactly. It's pretty much like the first Passover, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's so cool because the scriptures say the Most High require that which is past. I gotta bring it up. And that's literally what's happening in the last days. He's bringing forth what was done in the last days. In the first days back in the last days. So this is the book of Ecclesiastes 3 and verse 5. That which has been is now, and that which is to be have already been, and Yahweh requireth that which is past. So you can't get around it. The same thing that happened before gonna happen again, right? What you got for me there, bro?
I left off it.
Say again?
I was last in Deuteronomy, I believe it was.
Okay.
Ended in 21.
Right. So we're gonna move on to how exactly to eat the Passover, right? Numbers 9 and verse 11.
Numbers 9 and verse 11. This is the book of Numbers, chapter 9 and verse number 11. The 14th day of the second month at even, they shall keep it and eat it with unleavened bread and bitter herbs.
You see that? So whenever you're eating the Passover, you have to eat that lamb with the unleavened bread and the bitter herbs. Yeah?
But now this is talking about eating it on the second month, in the second month, not the first, right?
Well, we'll go there. We'll go to Exodus 12.
Right. Oh, you're going to go there now or we continue?
Yeah, let's go to Exodus 12. Yeah.
Okay. Just in case anybody gets confused when it says the second month, it's only because we'll go to Exodus 12.
Yeah, we looked at it. It's only because they couldn't keep it.
They
in
couldn't
the
keep
first
it,
month.
exactly.
Yeah, in the first month. So the Most High said, do
Exodus
it
12.
on the 14th at evening in the second month.
Okay, so Exodus 12, and where do you want me to start? Number 2, number
8. 8 is fine.
8?
Yeah.
Okay. This is the book of Exodus, chapter 12, and verse number 8. And they shall eat the flesh in the night, roast with fire and unleavened bread, and with bitter herbs they shall eat it.
You see
Eat
that?
not. Yep.
Go ahead. You can read 9 as well.
Eat not of it raw, nor sodden at all with water, but roast with fire, his head and his legs, and with the purtenance thereof.
Right. So barbecue that lamb. As we know.
Barbecue that lamb, yeah.
Yeah, barbecue that, man. Don't come. You can't make no lamb stew. Gotta roast the lamb on the fire. And again, it says with unleavened bread and bitter herbs. So when you're having the lamb, you gotta have the lamb with unleavened bread, and you gotta have the lamb with the bitter herbs, right? Why? Remember we read earlier, it says it is the bread of affliction. Yeah. And there's another place in the scriptures where the Most High says, I think it's Leviticus 2, you can't offer any of his offerings with leavened bread, man. Right? And you gotta make sure you put some salt in that thing too. You don't want no tasteless
salt
food.
in it as well, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want no tasteless food. You can't bring no offering with leaven in it, and you can't put any honey in any of your offerings as well, whether it be a free will offering or anything like that. Leviticus 2 and verse 11. No meat offering which you shall bring unto Yahweh, and meat here is wheat. This is wheat. Okay, this is a grain offering. No grain offering which you shall bring unto Yahweh. Let me see if the blue letter has it here. Mincha. Let's see. Bestow, donation, oblation, tribute. Where is it? Maybe I'm on the wrong word. Wow, they don't even have the word offering. They don't break it down. Let's see. Okay, give me a second.
Shalom.
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 Shalom, brother.
How are you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Good.
I have a question about the lamb, the lamb, the Passover lamb.
Right. Can it wait until the end?
Okay, sure.
Okay, cool. Yeah, because we have a few, quite a bit here. I just want to get through it. And you'll most likely get your question answered as it's going on. Okay, look here on what do you call it? Leviticus 2 and verse 11 in the Interlinear Bible, which gives a much better translation than even the King James. It tells you here it's a grain offering. You see that? Any grain offering which you bring to Yahweh, not shall be made with leaven. Yeah? So this word, give tribute offering, mincha. Give meal offering, meal. You see that? So they put meat, but the word is actually meal, and meal was what? A grain. You understand? That they use in order to make bread. Right. I just wanted to show you guys that real quick. No meat offering, or rather grain offering, which ye bring unto Yahweh shall be made with leaven. For ye shall burn no leaven, nor any honey in any offering of Yahweh made by fire. So any offering you make by fire, you can't put no honey in that, and you can't put no leaven in it. Right? Okay. Where's the one that says salt? You have to put salt in it as well. Verse 13, and every oblation of thy meat or grain offering shalt thou season with salt, neither shalt thou suffer the salt of the covenant of thy God to be lacking from thy meat offering. With all thine offerings thou shalt offer salt. See that? Okay. Brother Chris, you there? If you're speaking, I can't hear you, bro.
Sorry, my yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I cut out somehow for some reason.
No, it's okay. I was talking anyway.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you perfectly fine.
Okay,
Ready
good.
to move on? You ready?
Yep, whenever you are.
Okay, cool.
Where are we going now? Where do you?
Let's go
Yep.
to so again we're in the section where we're talking about how to eat the Passover, and it says with bitter herbs and unleavened bread. We looked at 2 scriptures to prove that. Now watch this. Let's see Yahweh Shai's Passover ritual, because there's a ritual for the Passover that Yahweh Shai gave us and said, do this in memory of me, right? And the churches took the ritual and they do it every Sunday. They do it every Sunday. They took this thing and literally do it every Shabbat. But Yahweh Shai came up with this ritual specifically for Passover, right? So we're going to look at that now. Luke 22. Sister Rachel, write down the question, so you don't forget.
Okay.
Yeah.
Luke 22, starting from what verse?
14.
This is the book of Luke, chapter 22, and verse number 14. And when the hour was come, he sat down, and the 12 apostles with him. And he said unto them, with desire I have desired to eat this Passover with you before I suffer.
Right.
For I say unto you, I will not any more eat thereof until it be fulfilled in the kingdom of Yahweh, or in the kingdom of God.
Right.
And he took the cup and gave thanks and said, take this and divide it among yourselves. For I say unto you, I will not drink of the fruit of the vine until the kingdom of God shall come.
So hold on right there. Yahweh Shai sat down to eat the Passover with his disciples. Then he took the cup, he gave thanks. He said, take this. He gave them the cup and said, divide it among yourselves. So take the 1 cup of Yahweh Shai's blood and divide it among yourselves. Read on. Go ahead.
Continue,
19,
finish 19.
Yeah.
And he took bread and gave thanks and brake it,
right,
and gave unto them, saying, this is my body, which is given for you.
Right.
This do in remembrance of me.
He said what?
This do in remembrance of me.
You see that? So he took the bread at the Passover, he break it, and he gave it to them as well. And said, this is my body, which is given for you. This do in remembrance of me. Have we done this?
Yes.
Have we broken the bread and drank and taken the cup and give everybody a bit, and they drink it and they break the bread in remembrance of Yahweh Shai?
Yes. I've done it before, yes.
Where?
In church.
In church.
In church. And yeah, I've done it in church.
Yeah. On the Sabbath. But I'm saying in Israel, I don't see this being done on the Passover. Right?
No.
Now other people may see it, but I haven't ever heard of this even spoken of. But Yahweh Shai said, specifically on the Passover, do this in remembrance of me. The man have a ritual. You take the glass of wine, you pour a little bit for everybody. You give thanks, right? Which we're going to do on the Passover, Lord willing. We're going to give thanks, give everybody a little bit of the wine in their cup. We're going to drink that and remember Yahweh Shai's blood that he shed, and we're going to take the Passover bread, break it, give it, and we'll remember the body of Yahweh Shai that was literally broken for us, right? It's important. He said to do it, right? If he said to do it, shouldn't we do it, brothers and sisters?
God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Con.
All right. You reached 20 already?
No, I haven't read 20 yet.
Read 20, please.
Verse number 20. Likewise, also the cup after supper, saying, this cup is the New Testament in my blood, which is shed for you.
Yeah, that.
But behold, continue.
No, that's it.
No, just
Because
that's
he's
Verse number
talking
12.
about how Judas betrayed
Yes,
him,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
So it said after supper as well, So at the end of this thing, he shared a cup as well, man, right? And they drank, and he said, this is the New Testament in my blood, which is shed for you, man. So at the beginning and at the end, they shed in the blood of Yahweh Shai, right? And the body of Yahweh Shai, which is pretty cool because it shows you that blood, man. That blood is at the beginning of the meal and the end of the meal. Didn't the man sweat blood in the garden before he got sacrificed, before he got crucified? He did. The scriptures tell you the man sweat blood in the garden. And then obviously his blood was shed after his death. They poked him in the side and came out blood and water. So you see how all of this feeds into it's so crazy, man. It all there's so much levels, to what's happening during the Passover, and it's something that man, we gotta practice this thing, man, and do this thing in the way that Yahweh Shai ordained for us to do it, right? It's gonna put us in the right headspace and in the right spirit. Two other scriptures to tell you about this whole Passover ritual is Matthew 26:26-29 and Mark 14:22-25. You can write that down. How to eat the Passover? Okay. You do the Passover ritual. You eat it with bitter herbs and unleavened bread. You sing for the Passover, right? 2 Chronicles chapter 30 and verse 21. 2 Chronicles 30 and 21.
This is the book of 2 Chronicles chapter 30 and verse number 21. And the children of Israel that were present at Jerusalem kept the feast of unleavened bread 7 days with great gladness. And the Levites and the priests praised the Lord day by day, singing with loud instruments unto the Lord.
Right. So who's the priests today? Because the priests were singing with loud instruments.
That'd be us, I guess.
Yeah. Right? Revelation 1:6, and have made us kings and priests unto God and his Father. To him be glory and dominion forever and ever. Amen. Or let it be so. Right? Mm-hmm. So for the whole 7 days, the man then was singing tunes to the Most High. Right? So you do your part. Find some tunes you like that give praise to the Most High. Sing them tunes, man, the 7 days. Keep it with mirth and gladness and worshiping the Most High God for this great deliverance. you know. Mark 14.
Mark 14.
Yeah. And
What
read
verse?
verse 26.
This is the book of Mark, chapter 14, and verse number 26. And when they had sung an hymn, they went out into the Mount of Olives.
You hear that? Now read from 22, please.
22, reading verse number 22. And as they did eat, Jesus, Yahushua, took bread and blessed and brake it, and gave to them, and said, "Take, eat, this is my body. Take, eat, this is my body." Continue 20. Keep going.
Yeah. Till you get to 26.
Okay. And he took the cup, and when he had given thanks, he gave it to them, and they all drank of it.
Right.
And he said unto them, "This is my blood of the New Testament, which is shed for many.
Right.
Verily I say unto you, I will drink no more of the fruit of the vine until that day that I drink it new in the kingdom of God."
Right.
Yahweh.
Right.
And when they had sung an hymn,
When they did
went
what?
out, and when they had sung an hymn,
Uh-huh.
they went out into the Mount of Olives.
They went out into the Mount of Olives. Right. So he ended up the Passover with what?
Singing.
The man sang a hymn. The King of Kings, the Lord of Lords, the conquering lion of the tribe of Judah, you know, the tall man, the ugly man, the vexed man, the man coming with his garment dipped in blood, sang a hymn to the Most High, man, at the end of that Passover, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So we should do the same. You know, pick a nice song and sing it to the Most High and end our Passover with that, you know. How to eat the Passover, blessing the people. This is another thing that was practiced in the Passover. Go to 2 Chronicles 30.
Read from what verse?
27.
This is the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 30, and verse number 27.
Right.
Then the priests, the Levites, arose and blessed the people, and their voice was heard, and their prayers came up to the holy dwelling place, even unto heaven.
Right. So then the priests, the Levites, arose and did what?
Bless the people.
Yeah. So after the Passover was finished, they blessed the people, right? Which it is my intention to do when we do our last holy convocation, right? Because this is what they did at the wrapping up of the Passover. They blessed the people, right? So it's my intention to do that at the end of the at our last holy convocation, right? And it says, and their voice was heard, and their prayer came up to his holy dwelling place, man, even unto heaven. So this is not just me wanting to do extra things. You understand? This is me trying to show you guys that there are secret ordinances of keeping this Passover that we haven't been told about. And it's in our best interest to do them, man. Because the Most High said, hey, their voice was heard, their prayer came up to his holy dwelling place. You know, when the Levites arose and blessed the people. Right? And he says, oh, just in case you're wondering, heaven, that's where the prayers came up to, right? So this Passover is such a holy thing and such a great opportunity where I am led to believe the Most High's ear is even closer, you know, to listen to what Israel is going to come and present before him. Because remember, no uncircumcised person can keep this Passover. In fact, Yahweh, I tell you, if you take this Passover in an unworthy manner, it's death you're bringing on yourself. You know? So all these sincere people are coming to pray and offer offerings unto him. You know? I'm led to believe this is the Most High's favorite feast. You know? You know? Because we're declaring the death and resurrection of Yahweh Shai until he returns. You know? Anyway, let's see. So blessing the people, Numbers 6, right? It said the priests and Levites, again, where the priests in these times blessed the people. So how did they bless the people? Right? Numbers 6.
Starting from where?
Go from 23 to 26. How did the priests then bless the people? All this is part of the Passover.
This is the book of Numbers, chapter 6 and verse number 23. Speak unto Aaron and unto his sons, saying, on this wise ye shall bless the children of Israel, saying unto them, the Lord bless thee and keep thee. The Lord make his face shine upon thee and be gracious unto thee. The Lord lift up his countenance upon thee and give thee peace. And they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them.
So now that you read that part where he said, they shall put my name upon the children of Israel, and I will bless them, read it. Read the blessing with the Most High name in it.
Read it again from...
Yeah, with Yahweh's name in it, from
Yahweh?
24.
Okay. The Lord bless thee.
No.
Yahweh bless thee and keep
That's right. That's right.
Yahweh make his face shine upon thee.
Right.
And be gracious unto thee.
Right.
Yahweh lift up his countenance upon thee.
Right.
And give thee peace.
Right. You see that? So when it said the Levites bless the people, the priests bless the people, this is the blessing.
Right.
So if you ever want to bless anyone, your children, you understand? Anybody you want to bless, this is the prayer. This is the blessing right here for the priest to bless the people with. You know? And he tells you when you bless the people like that, he's gonna bless them. Now, is God a liar? No.
No.
So if you bless the Most High, the people in this way, the Most High will bless them. Try it. Do it and see. That's what I always do, man. When the Most High have something in there, I go and I try it. And it works. You know? Okay. Deuteronomy 10, verse 8.
1 second.
Yeah.
I just want to make note of that. One
Yeah.
second.
Yeah.
Okay, so Deuteronomy what?
10 and verse 8.
10 and verse 8. This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 10 and verse number 8. At that time, the Lord separated the tribe of Levi to bear the ark of the covenant of the Lord, to stand before the Lord, to minister unto him, and to bless his name unto this day.
You miss a word there, very important word. To bless.
In his name.
Right.
Unto this day.
Right. So this is what we just read.
Okay.
The Most High set up the Levites to bless in his name. This even shows you how important that name is. Right? And why these damn devils remove the name from the Bible. It's literally a blessing to put the Most High name upon your people. Like in real life, it's a blessing. In fact, that's how you bless the people, you know. But it said he separated the tribe of Levi to do that. But we know the Most High put dung on the Levites' face. That's in the book of, is that Malachi?
I believe that's where it is.
I want to say 3, Malachi 3. Maybe 4. Hold on a second. How do I go to the next? Okay. Next chapter. Wow. Okay. And now, O ye priests, which is the Levites, this commandment is for you. If you will not hear and you will not lay it to heart to give glory unto my name, saith Yahweh of armies, I will even send a curse upon you, and I will curse your blessings. Yea, I have cursed them already, because you do not lay it to heart. Behold, I will corrupt your seed and spread dung upon your faces, even the dung of your solemn feast, and one shall take you away with it. You see that? And ye shall know that I have sent this commandment unto you, that my covenant might be with Levi, saith Yahweh of armies. So he made a covenant with them for them to bless the people. And here he made a covenant with them, telling them, I'm going to put dung on your faces and destroy you guys because you keep accepting terrible sacrifices. Right? Sheep that are not without blemish. You understand? And putting all kind of profane things on his altar, right? They weren't being diligent, so he took away the blessing from them. Right? Here, let's prove that with another scripture, where it tells you that nothing was spoken about Judah concerning priesthood, but Yahushua rules the nation. The priesthood was the Levites and Aaron, right? Hebrews 7 verse 14, for it is evident that our Lord sprang out of Judah, of which tribes Moses spoke nothing concerning priesthood, right? So this blessing that the Levites supposed to give and stuff, we are doing it in this time. Khan? Everybody understand?
Khan.
Well, Chris, you there? I think I lost.
Yeah, Con. No,
Yeah.
I'm here. Sorry, I put on mute for 1 second. I didn't realize. I was talking to myself.
It's all good.
Con.
Yeah, Revelation 5 and 10, it says, well, can you give me from verse 9 to verse 10? That's just another precept on us being the kings and priests in these times. So the things that the Levites used to do, we have to do them now until the kingdom come again, and then the Most High set them, the righteous Levites, to go back and take up that position again.
Okay, this book of Revelations, chapter 9 and chapter 5 and verse number 9.
Mm-hmm.
And they sung a new song, saying, Thou art worthy to take the book and to open the seal thereof. For thou wast slain and hast redeemed us to Yahweh by thy blood out of every kindred and tongue and people and nation.
Right.
And has made us unto our God, unto Yahweh, kings and priests,
right?
And we shall reign on the earth.
You see that? So we are the kings and priests today to do these priestly works, the blessings, etc. And this is a cut for Christians as well that say, oh, we're going somewhere else, we're going into heaven, and we're going to float out into, God knows where. It says we shall reign on the earth. See that?
Right. Yep. Con.
That's plain. Okay. So what do I have here? I got a couple Passover secrets, and then that's it. Watch this. So that was just how to eat the Passover, and the last ordinance being blessing the people at the end of everything, right? And one of the unknown ordinances being a particular ritual that Yahushua came up with and said, do it in remembrance of him, right? Which includes, a song. The man them sang after the Passover. Now, we don't have to do that, but I definitely would like to do the Passover the same way my king did the Passover. You understand? And my ancestors did the Passover. They sung 7 days, the priests and them. Every day they were singing tunes and playing music to the Most High, right? And Yahushua, he obviously knew that, so he make sure he busts a tune before he go to the Mount of Olives. Okay. Passover secrets. Number 1, other offerings were eaten at the Passover. Other offerings were also eaten at the Passover, not just the lamb. 2 Chronicles chapter 30 and go to verse 22.
This is the book of 2 Chronicles chapter 30 and verse number 22. And Hezekiah spoke comfortably unto all the Levites that taught the good knowledge of the Lord. And they did eat throughout the feast 7 days, offering peace offerings and making confession to the Lord God of their fathers.
Right.
And the whole assembly.
Wait, that's all I want.
Okay.
It said, let's see, they ate throughout ate throughout the festival 7 days. They offered peace offerings, and they also made confessions before the Most High. Now, is a peace offering the Passover?
No.
No, it's not. So this is another offering that was being given during the Passover. You understand? So the Passover, when you eat the Passover, anytime you eat that lamb, you got to eat that bread and you got to eat that herbs with it. But there are other things that are also being eaten and offered at the Passover. Let's prove that. We got more scriptures on it. 2 Chronicles 35.
This is a book 35 and what?
Just give me 7, 8, and 12 for now.
7, 8, and 12. This is a book of 2 Chronicles chapter 35 and verse number 7. And
Sorry. Read verse 1 first for context, please.
Okay. Moreover, Josiah kept the Passover unto the Lord in Jerusalem. And they killed the Passover on the 14th day of the first month.
All right, great.
Verse number 7. And Josiah gave to the people of the flock, lambs and kids, all for the Passover offering.
Hold on. He gave them lambs and kids, all for the Passover offerings. Lambs is sheep, kids is goats. Right? We know we can take from the sheep or the goat for the Passover. So he gave them all that for Passover offerings. Go ahead.
For all that were present, to the number of 30,000 and 3,000 bullocks.
Wait, hold on. Wait, go back, read it properly.
Okay, I'll read it starting from the beginning. Verse number 7. And Josiah gave to the people of the flock, lambs and kids, all for the Passover offering.
Right.
For all that were present, to the number of 30,000 and 3,000 bullocks.
Wait, hold on. So he gave for all that were present 30,000 kids and lambs for the Passover offering, right? What are the 3,000 bullocks for?
I guess for the for a peace offering, I guess. I don't know. For
well, we don't have to
some
guess
other type of offering.
That's right. For some other type of offerings that are being made during the Passover. You guys see that?
Yeah.
He gave 3,000 cows. It's not for the Passover. You can't kill cows for the Passover. It's not a Passover offering. Read on.
And 3,000 bullocks, these were of the king's substance. And the princes gave willingly unto the people, to the priests and to the Levites. Hilkiah and Zechariah and Jehiel, rulers of the house of God, gave unto the priests for the Passover offering 2,600 small cattle and 300 oxen.
And 300 oxen. What's the oxen for?
I don't know. Good question. I guess other type of offering.
All right. Well, let's see. What I asked for 7, 8. Give me 12.
And they removed the burnt offering that they might give. Sorry, verse number 12. And they removed the burnt offerings that they might give according to the division of the families of people to offer unto the Lord, as it is written in the book of Moses. And so did they with the oxen. And they roasted the Passover with, do you want 13?
No, it's good. You know what? Yes.
And they roasted the Passover with fire according to the ordinances. But the other holy offerings sawed they in pots and in cauldrons and in pans, and divided them speedily among all the people.
Okay, so stop right there. It said the Passover they roasted with fire according to the ordinance. But the other holy offerings, they cook it in pot, in cauldron, and in pan, and they divided speedily and gave it to the people. You guys see that?
Yeah, God.
There were other holy offerings that was being cooked and given to the people to eat other than the Passover. Again, when you eat the Passover, it's a ritual. It's a, you know what I mean? It's a time, it's a, you know what I mean? The Passover have a beginning and an end to the ritual. Yahweh Shai showed us that. You eat, and then you have a point in time where, you know, you pass the wine around and everybody remember Yahweh Shai and drink the wine, and then you break the bread, you know, and they eat it and remember Yahweh Shai and, you know, drink the wine at the end. But during the rest of the time, there's other food that's being eaten. Even during Yahweh Shai's Passover, there was other food being eaten, and I'll show you guys that in a second. But going back to verse 12, it says the oxen was given as burnt offerings according to the law of Moses, right? Let's see where the law of Moses talks about, you know, the burnt offering. Leviticus 1.
Okay.
Read from 1 to 9, please. Note also, they gave them bulls, okay? They gave them cows, right? And it said they offered it according to the law of Moses. Here's the law of Moses, that here's the ordinance. Go ahead.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 1, and verse number 1. And the Lord called unto Moses, and spake unto him out of the tabernacle of the congregation, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, If any man of you bring an offering unto the Lord, ye shall bring your offerings of the cattle, even of the herd, and of the flock. If his offering be a burnt sacrifice of the herd, let him offer a male without blemish. He shall offer it of his own voluntary will at the door of the tabernacle of the congregation before the Lord.
Right.
And he shall put his hand upon the head of the burnt offering, and it shall be accepted for him to make atonement for him. And he shall kill the bullock before the Lord. And the priests, Aaron's sons, shall bring the blood and sprinkle the blood round about upon the altar that is by the door of the tabernacle of the congregation.
Right.
And he shall flay the burnt offering
So
and cut it into pieces.
So he shall skin it. The man shall skin the burnt offering and cut it into pieces. Go ahead.
And the sons of Aaron the priest shall put fire upon the altar and lay the wood in order upon the fire. And the priest Aaron's sons shall lay the parts, the head and the fat upon the order and the head and the fat in the order upon the wood that is on the fire which is upon the altar. But his inwards and his legs shall he wash in water, and the priest shall burn all on the altar to be a burnt sacrifice, an offering made by fire of sweet savor unto the Lord.
Right. So stop right there. So he tells you, this is the ordinance for the burnt offering. Yeah. You kill it at the door. You skin it. You give the innards and the fat, and you pour out the blood, and you burn the fat and certain innards on the altar to the Most High. Okay. The priest shall lay the parts, the head, the fat, in order upon the wood that is on the fire. The fat and the head, right? And then you wash the innards and burn it on the altar. It's a burnt sacrifice, right? So that's the ordinance of the burnt sacrifice. Now, verse 2 really has what I wanted out of here. It says, bring your offering of the cattle, even of the herd, and of the flock. You see that? You see that? So you can bring the herd or the flock. Herd of what? Cows. Herd of what? Goats. Flock of what? Sheep. Let's get further proof on that. 1 Samuel 2, verse 12 to 16.
This is the book of 1 Samuel chapter 2 and verse number 12. Now the sons of Eli were sons of Belial.
Mm-hmm.
They knew not the Lord.
Right.
And the priest's custom with the people was that when any man offered sacrifice, the priest's servant came, while the flesh was in seething,
Mm-hmm.
with a flesh hook of 3 teeth in his hand.
Mm-hmm.
And he struck it into the pan, or kettle, or cauldron, or pot. All that the flesh hook brought up, the priest took for himself. So they did in Shiloh unto the Israelites that came thither.
So stop right there. It said, if any man made a sacrifice, the priest's servant would come while the flesh was doing what?
Seething.
Which is what? What is seething?
Stewing.
Well, let's look it up. Let's look it up. Seething. Let's see if these people even give us the ancient meaning. Lick of a liquid bubble up as a result of being boiled. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
Cook food by boiling it in a liquid. You see that?
Right.
So while the bouillon was being made, which is what we call it in St. Lucia, while the oxtail was cooking, right? While the give me a dish there, Chris.
I don't know. The oxtail is plenty enough for me, man. That's the go-to.
That's the go-to.
Yeah, that's the best one right there.
Yeah, while the food was cooking in the pot, while the dumplings were boiling up. You understand what I'm saying? Well, anyway, the dumplings wouldn't have been boiling up. But yeah. For the Most High sacrifice like that.
The curry goats.
The curry goat. There we go.
Curry goats, yes.
Well, the curry.
Mm-hmm.
While the curry
I
goat
said
was
your dishes.
bubbling. What you say, babe?
I said you guys and your dishes.
That's it. While the curry goat was bubbling, the greedy priest them would come with the flesh hook and just put it in the pot, and whatever come up is theirs, and they take it. Remember, this was bubbling for what? Sacrifice. Now, didn't we read in what is it, Chronicles? Let me see here. Second Chronicles 35 and also chapter 30, that people were making other holy offerings. You see what I'm saying? The other holy offerings, some of them would have been being seethed, boiled. We saw the priests themselves cook stuff in pots and gave it to the people. They weren't roasting it over regular fire. So this is just to show you, again, has priests, has people coming to give sacrifices, and food is being boiled for everybody to eat, right? And they come and they just put their flesh hook in the people pot and take whatever they feel like because they're the priests, right? Now, read 15, brother, please.
This is the book of 1 Samuel chapter 2 and verse number 15.
Mhm.
Also, before they burnt the fat, the priest servant came and said to the man that sacrificed, give flesh to roast for the priest, for he will not have sodden flesh will not have sodden flesh of thee, but raw.
Right. So before the priest then burn the fat, remember we just read the ordinance. It sounded a bit confusing as to what they're doing, but now we get a bit more clarity. They were burning the fat on the altar with these innards. Okay, it was being burnt. That's the part the most I want, because he tell us don't eat fat and don't eat blood, period. Let me bring that out. Leviticus 3. There we go. Leviticus 3:17. Leviticus 3:17. It shall be a perpetual statute for your generations to all your dwellings that ye eat neither fat nor blood. You see that? So the Most High don't want us looking like the three little pigs out here, or Miss Piggy. That's why I tell you, don't eat the fat, burn it, it's mine. And pour out the blood of the animal. Because the life of the animal is in the blood. Don't eat no blood. He said, pour out the blood. Meanwhile, we're eating black pudding in St. Lucia. You know, every Saturday I'm in the line waiting for my black pudding, right? I'm eating the blood, you know. Anyway, praise the Lord, I repented. But go give me 1 Samuel 2 and 15 again, and then read until 16.
Sorry, 1 second.
It's all good.
First Samuel 2, chapter 15. I'm sorry, First Samuel chapter 2 and verse number 15.
Right.
Also, before they burnt the fat, the priest servant came and said to the man that sacrificed, give flesh to roast for the priest, for he will not have sodden flesh of thee, but raw. Continue 16. If any man said unto him, let them not fail to burn the fat presently, and then as I would answer him, nay, but thou shalt give it me now, and if not, I will take it by force.
See that? Right.
Wherefore,
Go ahead. Yeah, give me just 17 and then you can end there.
wherefore the sins of the young men was very great before the Lord. For men abhorred the offering of the Lord.
Right. Right. So because of the filthiness these guys were doing, people hated coming and do the sacrifice, and you know, some people wouldn't even come because these guys were just stealing the food for themselves. Okay. Let's go to Second Chronicles. No, let's go to, yeah, let's read Second Chronicles 35:13 again, and then we'll go to John 13.
Okay. Second Chronicles 35. In which verse? Sorry.
Second Chronicles 35 and verse 13.
Verse 13.
Yeah.
It's the book of Second Chronicles, chapter 35 and verse 13. And they roasted the Passover with fire according to the ordinances. But the other holy offerings saw they in pots and in cauldrons and in pans, and divided them speedily among all the people.
Right. So when you come to the Passover, you know, we're gonna have the lamb ready, you know, a lamb for a house, and I'll be ready. But you, before the Passover comes, need to think about other holy offerings that you want to give to the Most High. Now, obviously, you can't make any sin offering because that's Yahweh Shai. But there's free will offerings, there's peace offerings, there's meat offerings, or rather grain offerings. The grain offering is actually very, very cool, and we're gonna look at it next. You know, think about what offering you want to bring to the Most High, because that's what the food that you're bringing to the Passover is. These are all offerings for the Most High, and it actually tells you how to give him his peace and then share it to everybody. So this should be a lot of this should be fun and exciting, because we'll be sacrificing or rather making offerings to the Most High on the fire and enjoying food and good company at the same time, which is incredible, you know. And we have you know, we have an altar you know, specially built by Chris, my brother Chris. Hey, bro, you know, this doing this study make me want the drum grill even more, bro. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, man. You know, because you know, yeah, we have to use the damn heating them things because that's what we have. But man, the drum would be even holier because we made this thing with our own hands. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, man.
Or if we had a big like fire pit.
Yeah, if we had like a big, and we just put a grill over it or something like that, that would be amazing, bro. If we could do that, like get some bricks and wood, you know, we can talk about it later. If it's possible, let's do it, man. Let's make an altar, man, for the Most High.
We can do it. There's yeah, we can do it. We just have to, as long as we get it arranged and built before the Passover hits, sure, I'm down for that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Time is short, so I don't know if we will be able to. Yeah, yeah. But if we're able to, we should. But at the very least, we know for next year, Lord willing, yeah?
Yeah, that after this, if we can't do it this year, we start and build it right away, right?
Yeah, facts. So we have it. Facts.
We prepare for next week, yeah. I mean for next year.
Yeah. Okay. So what was the last thing you read there? Second Chronicles. Right. So they gave the food to the people. Now watch this. Watch Yahweh Shai now. John 13 and verse 26.
John 13:26.
Yeah.
This is the book of John, chapter 13 and verse 26. Jesus, Yahushai, answered, He it is to whom I shall give a sop when I have dipped it. And when he had dipped the sop, he gave it to Judas. Sorry, let me start from the beginning, okay?
Yeah.
Yahushai answered, He it is to whom I shall give a sop when I have dipped it. And when he had dipped the sop, he gave it to Judas Iscariot, the son of Simon.
Mm-hmm.
And after the sop, Satan entered into him. Then said Yahushai, Unto him that thou doest, do quickly.
Yeah. And then
Continue.
he said to him, no, that's all I want. Right? That's all I want. So
Okay.
Yahushai, it says, they're wondering, hey, who's gonna betray you, master? And he says, well, who I give the sop when I've dipped it. Sop is just morsel, okay? And let me show you guys here, tools. I don't really like to use this website because there's certain things they hide, but it's really popular in Israel. And sometimes they have things right. So this word sop, as you can see, is the word, what's that? Somion. There we go. And it means a fragment, a bit, a morsel. All right. Outline of biblical usage. Thayer's Greek lexicon, which nobody will argue with you if you're using the Thayer's, fragment, bit, or morsel. All right. So he said, whoever I dip the morsel, whoever I give the morsel after I dip it, this person is the betrayer. Right?
Yeah.
So what he dip the morsel in?
In some sort of stew or gravy, right?
Some sort of gravy. If you're only supposed to have the lamb, the flat bread, and the bitter herbs, what's Yahushai doing dipping morsel in things? You get me?
Yeah, of course, yeah. So obviously they had other offerings.
They had other offerings there. That's why he was able to dip a morsel in something and give it to the betrayer. Right? And this dip is the same dip used in Luke 16, verse 24. I'll post the link to the document that the lesson document, so you guys can go check out. That is the same word, bapto, right? For yourself. Moving on. This is really cool. The grain offering. Watch this. So you can bring grain offerings for the Most High. Leviticus chapter 2.
Sorry, just writing it down.
Mm-hmm.
Chapter 2 and verse.
Leviticus, read from verse 1.
Verse 1.
Yeah, just keep going.
This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 2 and verse number 1. And when any offer a meat offering unto the Lord, his offering shall be of fine flour.
Right.
And he shall pour oil upon it, and put frankincense thereon.
Right.
And he shall bring it to Aaron's sons, the priests, and he shall take there out his handful of flour thereof, and of the oil thereof, with all the frankincense thereof. And the priest shall burn the memorial of it upon the altar.
That means burn up a bit of it on the altar. Go ahead.
To be an offering made by fire of sweet savor unto the Lord.
Right.
And the remnant of the meat offering shall Aaron's and his sons shall be Aaron's and his sons. Sorry. I'll
Say
start
that again. And the
I'll
what?
start from
No,
I'll
just
start
that
from-
part is fine. Just that part is fine. And the remnant.
and the remnant of the meat offering shall be Aaron's and his sons.
Right. So the rest of the grain offering is for Aaron and his sons. Okay. So they take a handful, they burn it, and the rest is for Aaron and his sons. Go ahead.
It is a thing most holy of the offering of the Lord made by fire.
You hear that? The grain offering is most holy. Right? Of all the offerings made by fire, the grain offering is most holy. Right? To Yahweh, out of all the offerings made by fire. Go ahead.
And if thou bring an oblation of a meat offering, bacon in the oven, it shall be unleavened cakes of fine flour, mingled with oil,
right?
Or unleavened wafers anointed with oil.
So stop right there. So if you bring a grain offering that was baked in the oven, he tell you no yeast in it, which we looked at before. Make sure the flour is fine flour, good flour, the best flour. Okay? Mingle that with oil, yeah? Or bring unleavened wafers anointed with oil. Now, this wafers, I'm not quite sure what that means. We might end up in a rabbit hole. Yeah, you know, I mean, look what they're telling you wafers are. You can look that up on your own. Yeah. But the point here is this. What is it that's made of fine flour that you can bake in the oven and don't put no yeast in it? And it's made of grain. What is that, brothers and sisters? Isn't that unleavened bread?
Yeah.
That's unleavened bread. Right? Which would explain why he would have to dip that morsel in something, because that bread hard.
It's hard. Yeah.
Yeah. Read on. 5.
And if thy oblation be a meat offering bacon in a pan,
right? So
it shall be.
Go ahead.
It shall be of fine flour, unleavened, mingled with oil.
Right. Yeah. So if you bring in fried bake, here's wagwan, fine flour. No white flour for none of the Most High offerings. Get the good whole wheat, the highest quality of flour that you can afford. Bring it. Go ahead. No white flour though. No white flour. Yeah, you cannot bring white flour. That's what he's telling you. Don't bring the last of, you know what I mean? The most low quality flour. Don't bring that. Go ahead.
Verse number 6. Thou shalt part it in pieces and pour oil thereon.
Right.
It is it is a meat offering. And if thou oblation be a meat offering bacon in the frying pan, it shall be made of fine flour with oil. And thou shalt bring the meat offering that is made of these things unto the Lord. And when it is presented unto the priest, he shall bring it unto the altar.
That's right.
And the priest shall take from the meat offering a memorial thereof, and shall burn it upon the altar.
So stop right there. So you see that? If you bring a grain offering like fried bake or unleavened bread, the priest have to take a piece and burn it completely on the altar, which in this case would be the barbecue. Right? You guys follow? You follow?
Yeah, Con.
All right. Go ahead.
And shall burn upon the altar. It is an offering made by fire, of a sweet savor unto the Lord.
And remember, this is the most, it says of all the offerings made by fire, this is the most holy one. You hear that? It is a most holy offering to the Most High for you to bring unleavened bread or unleavened bake that you make and burn a piece on the barbecue for the Most High. All praises to the Most High. Because You know, people like to say these things are poor people food, but the Most High say, make that the fine flour, and that's a most holy offering to him. Right? He didn't say that about the meat. You know, but he said about the fine flour, the grain, you know. Go ahead.
Verse number 10. And that which is left of the meat offering shall be Aaron's and his sons. It is a thing most holy of the offerings of the Lord made by fire.
All praises.
No meat offering. Continue.
I just said all praises.
Oh, all praises. No meat offering which ye shall bring unto the Lord shall be made with leaven. For ye shall burn no leaven nor any honey in any offering of the Lord made by fire.
You hear that? Go ahead.
So no honey.
Yep, no honey and no yeast. Go ahead.
As for the oblation of the first fruits, ye shall offer them unto the Lord, but they shall not be burnt on the altar for a sweet savor. And every oblation of thy meat offering shalt thou season with salt. Neither shalt thou suffer the salt of the covenant of the covenant of Yahweh to be lacking from thy meat offering.
Right.
With all thine offerings thou shalt offer salt.
Right. Why? Because you know, you're the salt of the earth. So if the salt missing, you're not in there. You see?
Right.
Go ahead.
And if thou offer a meat offering of thy first fruits unto the Lord, thou shalt offer for the meat offering of thy first fruits green ears of corn dried by the fire, even corn beaten out of full ears.
Right.
And thou shalt put oil upon it, and lay frankincense thereon. It is a meat offering. And the priest shall burn the memorial of it, part of the beaten corn thereof, and part of the oil thereof, with all the frankincense thereof. It is an offering made by fire unto the Lord.
Right. So that last part was about the first fruits, which is not pertinent.
Right.
Yeah. But the point was the grain offering, right? So the grain offering is one of the most holy offerings that you can bring to the Most High, right? And here's the ordinance for the grain offering. So if you want to bring a grain offering to the Passover, bring it. You know, let's cut a piece of that. Have one of the men throw it on the barbecue, burn it up to the Most High. It's a sweet savor, right? I don't know about you guys, but I'm really excited about this Passover, man, and putting in these little pieces, you know, to have a grand Passover for the Most High, you know. Okay.
No, me too.
All praises. Is it what? 1 second. What is this? Give me 2 Chronicles 35 and 17.
This is the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 35 and 17.
Yeah.
And the children of Israel that were present kept the Passover at the time, and the feast of unleavened bread 7 days.
Right. So right after the Passover is the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And I know you guys know that, but this is just for the viewers who might be new and might not know that the Feast of Unleavened Bread is that same evening, basically, right? That's why you eat the Passover without leaven.
Right.
Yeah. And of course you gotta put leaven away from your house before the 14th day at evening. Right, and keep it out of your house until after the Passover is done. Now, did we talk about the singers? Yes, we did. I just need to move this note over. 1 second. Okay, we already talked about keeping it neat. we're gonna look at a scripture on freedoms, certain freedom that you have with the Passover, and that's it. One more scripture, 2 Chronicles 30 and verse 23.
This is the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 30 and verse number 23. And the whole assembly took counsel to keep and the whole assembly took counsel to keep other 7 days, and they kept other 7 days with gladness.
You hear that? Read on.
For Hezekiah, king of Judah, did give to the congregation 1,000 bullocks and 7,000 sheep, and the princes gave to the congregation 1,000 bullocks and 10,000 sheep, and a great number of priests sanctified themselves.
Right, sanctify themselves. That's it. But it says here the whole assembly took counsel to keep what? Other 7 days. And they kept other 7 days with gladness, right? So one of the freedoms of the Passover is if you want to keep the Passover longer than 7 days, you can do it. Right? Because that's what they were doing here in 2 Chronicles chapter 30. We looked at 2 Chronicles all throughout the lesson, right? Do you want me to go back in a scripture for context, or you realize that is the same thing?
No, I'm fine.
Okay, cool. Yeah. So
I don't know if you want to do it for anybody else listening, or
yeah, sure. Let's go up to verse 15. Actually, let's go from 13.
This is the book of 2 Chronicles, chapter 30 and verse number 13. And there assembled at Jerusalem much people to keep the feast of unleavened bread in the 2nd month, a very great congregation.
See that? The feast of unleavened bread. All right. They were keeping it in the 2nd month, a very great congregation, again, because they couldn't keep it in the 1st month. Read verse 15.
Verse number 15. Then they killed the Passover on the 14th day of the 2nd month.
Right.
And the priests and the Levites were ashamed and sanctified themselves and brought in the burnt offerings into the house of the Lord.
See that? Now you can go down to 23.
And the whole assembly took counsel to keep other 7 days, and they kept other 7 days with gladness.
Right. And before that, we looked at 2 Chronicles chapter 35, I believe, and verse 17, and it tells you the Feast of Unleavened Bread is kept 7 days. So they kept another 7 days, right? So if you are able and so inclined, you could keep the Passover for 14 days if you feel like. You could lengthen the days of the Passover, right? The Most High is not gonna he's gonna be happy about that, not mad, because you're remembering the Passover for a longer time than before, right? So that's the last secret of the Passover there. So in conclusion, this is a mighty feast, man, and it's deep, The feast encourages us to examine ourselves and, eat of the Passover in faith, or don't eat of the Passover at all, Hold on, let's see. I want to bring out this one scripture. That will actually speak better than me concerning the Passover, or rather, concerning not just the Passover, but the spirit in which we're supposed to keep it. What am I doing here? 1 Corinthians 11. Oh man. All right. Brother Chris, you there?
I'm here.
I'm trying to, what am I doing here? There we go. All right. Give me 1 Corinthians 11.
Okay.
From verse 20. From verse 23 to 29.
This is the book of 1 Corinthians chapter 11 and verse 23. For I received of the Lord that which also I delivered unto you, that the Lord Yahushua, the same night in which he was betrayed, took bread.
Mm-hmm.
And when he had given thanks, he brake it and said, Take, eat. This is my body, which is broken for you. This do in remembrance of me.
Mm-hmm.
After the same manner, also he took the cup when he had supped, saying, This cup is the New Testament in my blood. This do ye, as oft as ye drink it, in remembrance of me. For as often as ye eat this bread and drink this cup, ye do show the Lord's death till he cometh.
Stop right there. So this
comes.
is where the Christian take this and do it every Sabbath. But Paul tell you this was Passover. It was during the Passover that the man did that. Right? Go ahead. As often as you eat the bread and drink the cup, you show the Lord's death till he come. Right?
Right.
Go ahead.
Verse 27. Wherefore, whosoever shall eat this bread and drink this cup of the Lord unwillingly shall be guilty of the body and blood of the Lord.
Unworthily. Right? If you do it and you know you're not circumcised in your heart, you're gonna be guilty of the body and the blood of Yahushua. And that's not, that's a crime you don't want to commit. Better you don't eat the Passover. Go ahead.
Verse number 28. But let a man examine himself, and so let him eat of the bread and drink of that cup.
Yeah.
For he that eateth and drinketh unworthily eateth and drinketh damnation to himself.
You hear that?
Not discerning the Lord's body.
You hear that?
Yes.
The most I tell you straight, damnation you're bringing on yourself. Right? If you're eating and drinking this thing unworthily, because you're basically, disrespecting Yahweh's sacrifice. 30 and then 31, and that's it.
Verse number 30. For this cause many are weak and sickly among you, and many sleep.
Right.
For if we would judge ourselves, we should not be judged.
That's it. Right. So as we approach the Passover, let's get ourselves in the right spirit, right? And make sure that we're eating and drinking the Passover worthily, before the Most High. According to the ordinances of Moses, fulfilled by the grace and the spirit of Yahushua. That's it. All praises.
Praises.
Yeah. Any questions? I know Rachel had a question. Was your question answered, sis?
Oh, it was about the lamb Basically, like, because we aren't able to like actually kill a lamb within these times. I
Yeah.
was just wondering what's the principle of when you should actually get it or prepare it.
Yeah, still get it on the 10th because we can't kill it, but
Okay.
we can get it. So let's get it on the 10th.
Okay, and then you prepare it on that day? Is that it?
Yeah, then you prepare it on the day of Passover, right?
Okay, on the day of Passover. Okay.
Yeah, so you can season it, right, and put it in the fridge,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then we do it at the Passover. Fry it up,
Okay.
at the Passover or once evening arrives.
Okay.
Yeah, because it's in the evening we're supposed to kill the Passover and do all of and cook it and you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Yeah.
Yeah. And for the meat offerings, like I know they say you're supposed to cook the meat. I guess according to the Bible, the scriptures, you're supposed to cook the meat offerings at the Passover as well.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
But
So does that
no,
mean
the
like
grain offering, you can come with the grain. No, no, no.
no?
Remember, the meat, which is really the grain offering, you bring it.
Okay.
Yeah, and then you break a piece and you burn that on the grill, and the rest can be eaten. So that can be prepared from before. But if you want to go according to the ordinance, the Passover is right there. We're supposed to fry up the Passover.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
But that's just for the green. But what about the other types of foods that you're supposed to eat? Like, are you supposed to, have it prepared already for that day as well?
Um, I need to think about that one. I don't think so. If I can give you an answer right off the cuff, I believe everything but the Passover can be prepared and brought.
Okay.
Yeah. Right. But let me get back to you on that one.
All right.
Yeah, because I did notice even in where we were reading
Mm-hmm.
the other holy offerings were made right there by the priests.
Right, right. That's what I was asking about. Yeah.
Yeah, so if you want to do it like that, do it like that. Let's do it like that
Okay.
because that's how they were doing it. So we can do it like that. But I don't think it's a problem to
To have it
come.
prepared or
Yeah,
cooked.
to have it prepared and come. The Passover, I'm happy with us making sure that we do the Passover in a very particular way. You understand what I'm
Right.
saying? Yeah. Because I mean,
Okay.
are we gonna be able to yeah, I leave that between you and the Lord still, because it seems like I think you're using grace if you prepare those things beforehand
Mm-hmm.
and bring them like the meat, or not the meat, not the grain offering, but the other
Right.
holy offerings,
Yeah.
right? Because what I see with the priests is that they were making those offerings right there as we're all hanging out. The pot was bubbling, which is
Right.
exciting. We can bring in the ingredients and make this stuff right there.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you're unable to do that, just do it at home, right?
Okay.
Let me give that answer. According to the ordinance, it's supposed to be done there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but if there's no if the ability is not there to do it there, then do it at home.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm happy with that answer, and I think that's what the scriptures show.
All right. And so for the well, for the unleavened bread that we're supposed to make,
Yeah.
you can put salt in it. Can you use stuff like maybe flaxseed or sesame seed in it as well?
Yeah, once it's not leavened.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, once it's not leavened, and once the flour is fine flour. Don't use white flour.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
All praises.
All right. Yeah, I think that was everything. Yeah.
Yeah, those are great questions.
So okay, so Passover we're doing as a congregation, basically people coming together.
Yeah.
Outside of that, when you're at your own home,
Mhm.
how do you keep the Passover?
Oh, that's a very good question.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Eat your unleavened bread.
Right.
That's it. Eat your unleavened bread. Sing, worship the Most High, and
Okay.
feast at your house with stuff that's not leavened. That's it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. And also no work. There's no work on those days, right? So
Yeah.
you refrain from any working.
On the first day and on the last day, there's no work.
Okay.
Yeah. I gotta add that to the lesson. I should have done that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that was everything then.
All right.
Thank you.
Awesome. You're welcome. All
All
praises.
praises. Yeah, all
All
praises.
praises. All right, family.
All praises.
Yes, good
Praises.
vibration. If we could end in a quick prayer, that'll be great. Brother Chris, you wanna lead the prayer? I've been talking
You
the
can do
whole
it.
time, yo. Huh?
Don't worry, you can lead it. You can lead it.
All right, fam.
Okay. All right.
My head's not covered, by the way.
Okay.
Heavenly Father. Oh man, let me turn off the recording. Sorry.